first Saturday of the month, and what that means, at least for me and a lot of you, is that it's a chance for people who are different. They stand up for the things of God. And I don't mean that they go to church and they stand up. What I mean is when they're confronted with something that is wicked, or they see something in the church that is wicked, that they stand up for those things. That those things, it's important that you stand up for Jesus, and it's important that you stand up for the bride of Christ, because the church in America has been pouring itself out for profit. And that's really what a lot of people that are kind of joining us on this first Saturday are joining us for, is because, and I've said this many times, if you live in a town of 10,000 people, there's probably like 3 to 5 of you that kind of are looking around, and it just seems like everybody else is in a fog. Like they go to the Sunday show and they have flattering words, but there's nothing there. There's no fruit, and we are judged by our fruit, literally. And it's an important aspect to look around, and when people look around, there's just no fruit. There's no caring for the least of these. There's no feeding the hungry, taking care of the widows and the orphans. There's no visiting the prisoners and the sick. There's no reaching the least of these. But it's not necessarily about taking care of the least of these as a whole. It's about being about our Father's business. It's about advancing the kingdom of heaven on earth as it is in heaven, because it is coming to earth as it is in heaven. And you should, as a child of God, be about your Father's business. And that's what people that come to this are about. So it's that first Saturday. So a couple things. We are going to be live tonight. We'll be live at 6. If you want to join us in person, we'll be there at 5. We're in Centerview, Missouri at 401 Walnut. I'll put the address there. But we go live at 6. But right now, we are going to join a branch of the local prison ministry who they do this all on their own. So it's literally the prison ministry. So the people coming out of prison, actually specifically the women coming out of prison, this is their ministry, is they then have rented, they've conjured up money through really God only, and only God, and they've rented this building that has a giant walk-in freezer, giant walk-in fridge. They've packed it full of food, and now they then deliver every single Saturday, 2 weeks, and it's an abundance of food. When we deliver it, it takes multiple trips to and from the truck to drop off this food to anybody that's hungry. So every other week you get food essentially in the county. And it's peculiar because I guarantee you, when we drive by the mega churches, the 3, 4, 5,000 member churches, they're going to be empty. And if I hung out at this building and watched cars come up, there's a few small churches that do deliver, but that's it. I've never seen a single human from a big church show up and deliver food to the hungry people in the county that they are ministering to. So ultimately what you got is they got the Sunday show. They spent all their money on fog machines, guitars, 85% payroll, and probably a lot of debt to banks through building mega buildings. And that's where all their money goes. Meanwhile, women who have, many of them lost their families, are now coming to this building and packing it full of food so they can serve the least of these. And that's what this is about. So just kind of pulling up now, but we'll just keep rolling. We'll just keep rolling with all this. We dropped off one, and it's always interesting because we've been doing this a while, and I don't think I've ever gone to the same house twice, which just shows the sheer volume of people that in this county that need food. now everybody's on an every other week rotation, but it's a lot. And I don't think this particular county is unique at all. I don't think that somehow this county is any poorer than all its neighboring counties, or its neighboring counties, or your county, or because there's definitely rich people in this county, and there's rich churches in this county, and there's well-to-do pastors in this county. It's a very successful county, Johnson County, Missouri. There's a state college here. There's Air Force Base, but it's a lot of hungry people. So the interesting thing about a lot of these deliveries is that this neighborhood, like this trailer park that we're in right now, and even the trailer park we were in a little bit ago, like on the way here, there was a house with a legit water slide. And it just shows the differences. But these are, all these people live right next to each other. They all live next to each other. But even as we came around, there was a guy coming out of the woods, because there's some homeless camps in these woods behind this trailer park, as well as behind the Walmart. There's a big homeless camp back there, and there's a huge homeless population in Warrensburg, and it's strange. Like, and I believe, you look at these churches, just millions and millions, if not tens and tens and tens of millions of dollars are given to the church, but there is just such a huge homeless population for such, and it's a college town in the middle of Missouri like that. But what it is, and talking to Joe at the prison ministry, is that this is essentially when you get out of prison in the Johnson County prison, they take you to downtown Warrensburg and drop you off, and that's why. That's why it is that way. So none of the churches are preparing for those people, and those churches know that probably. I think if you went and told that to those churches, that they've been doing that in their town for decades, they don't know. So where do these guys go? Well, they go into the woods. That's where they go. So it's interesting as you kind of drive around, you see those places. So we're in Centerview. This is Centerview, and this is a special place. It's very small. This is where we have the remnant meetings at. I don't even know how many people live here. I'd say definitely less than 300. And you could walk around the whole town in about 20 minutes, maybe 25 at the most. And I know that because Dale from Church of Hope and I, we literally one time we walked around this town for 7 days. We did a lap around it for 7 days. And on the seventh day, we walked around for 7 days. And this place is special to God. I don't know why, because this is Centerview, and everybody's house is kind of run down. Everybody's struggling. Everybody's having a hard time. There's 2 churches in here in this town, and they don't do anything for anybody in this town. Again, just like Warrensburg, it's the prison ministry actually taking care of these people, and many of the people that live in this town came out of prison. Some of them might have been bailed out in the last few days. Like, it's a rough around the edges town. And I knew it from the moment I was here 7 years ago, or however long that was, that it was extremely important to God. This town, I don't know what it is, because it is nothing appealing about it, but it is extremely important to God. Extremely important to God. And I know that to be so because it has been a stronghold of the enemy, and it is extremely important to the enemy. And I also know that because when I became a principal in this town, it was really this idea. Sorry, the roads aren't very well here either. There was a lot of things that led me here, like a lot of things that happened to me 20, 30 years ago that made me realize that, well, this is There's a reason why I had to go through certain suffering, you know, back when I was 15 years old, so I would be equipped to do this thing. You know, there was a lot of that, and so I knew it was extremely important to God. And even now, here we are back. Like I don't even want to be in this tent. Like, you know, I literally stood in the face and just took, you know, everybody's monkey poo slinging for 4 years, standing up for the things of God in this town. And, you know, I don't want to come back to this place, but here I am back in this place. And I just love that. There's so much about that I love. It's things like that that make you realize that it's of God. So join us tonight if you can. We'll be at the old school. I'll just kind of put a little B-roll of what it looks like in case you're here and you don't know what the building looks like. But we'll be at 401 South Walnut, so hopefully join us.